3 changes to your current training regime that are going to immediately get you looking more jacked. Number 1, you're going to stop lifting light. You're going to start lifting heavier. You're going to lower the reps. You're going to start pushing yourself harder. Reason being, there are 2 types of hypertrophy: sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, myofibrillar hypertrophy. Myofibrillar hypertrophy, building denser muscle fibers. That means that if you get your body fat down low, your muscles are going to look more impressive. It's going to be less about the pump and more about having hard, dense, aesthetic looking muscles. Think of aesthetic physiques like Bruce Lee, not renowned as a huge guy, but aesthetically one of the most impressive in the history of the fitness industry. There are various ways you can go about approaching myofibrillar hypertrophy, isometrics, overcoming isometrics, but what I prefer, especially if you've got a solid foundation of muscle to begin with, is good old-fashioned strength training. You're looking at 2 to 4 heavy reps. It might feel weird at first, it might take some getting used to, but trust me, especially if you already have a foundation of muscle to work with, this might be the change that you've been looking for, that missing piece of the jigsaw that is going to push your physique up to the next level. Change number 2, guys, is that you are going to start moving around more, not running more, not more cardio, just moving more throughout the day like I am now. Find an empty car park and have a walk around. Sounds like very basic advice. It sounds like very simple bro science. The actual logic behind it is less move more, you're going to burn more calories, and more move more so you can eat more calories. See, 99.99% of people understand that in order to burn fat and in order to expose those lean, dense muscles that you've been building, that Bruce Lee physique that you have crafted under your layer of fat, you need to be in a calorie deficit. But my logic has never been that I want to cut back my calories too much. Of course, I have to implement a small calorie deficit, but I would rather eat into that by doing more activity. Use the example of gasoline in a car many times before. You have a set amount of gasoline for the day and you actually want to use that gasoline, then you're gonna have to drive around more. If you drive around more, eventually you're gonna run out of gasoline, and it's once we run out of gasoline that we start burning that fat. Yes, any sort of calorie deficit will work. I'm not claiming this is some sort of hidden science that I've made up myself, but my logic is, if I'm gonna create a calorie deficit and I keep on doing more and more activity, that calorie deficit technically is gonna get bigger and bigger, and I'm gonna burn fat faster and faster and reach my goals without having to sacrifice as much in terms of nutrition. The final change, geezers, and there's no way around this, is you've got to eat better. And some people look at me, sometimes they start criticizing me because I can control what I eat. Oh, you're too lean. Oh, it's not healthy. Now, trust me, some of the pictures that you see, the videos that you see that I cut into this, some of them are from 2 years ago. I'm not that lean all the time, but just like you have tried to bulk and cut, I am very successful when it comes to cutting, because I know what I need to eat, what I shouldn't be eating when I'm cutting, and I am mentally capable of pulling that back. Point being, you can bulk for as long as you want and you will build muscle, but for most people, isn't the point of building muscles to actually show them off, to cut down and to show them off eventually? And that is the part of the process that you don't see quite as often. You're someone who finds yourself constantly bulking. I'm in a bulking stage, yet you don't actually cut. And then when you see someone who's lean, you see someone who is very aesthetic, the first thing you think is, oh, they must be taking some sort of shortcut to get there. That's probably because you're bulking so hard that it's becoming impossible to cut. You're giving yourself an impossible mountain to climb. Don't make it so difficult for yourself. Yes, eating a calorie surplus. Yes, you want to gain muscle, but don't give yourself a huge reversal process at the end of it. Don't give yourself 6 months of hard work that you have to undo to finally realize the results, because that becomes a year-long process. One of the greatest skills I've developed over the years is that I can stay so close to my maintenance calories. I'm so aware of my body, what it needs, what it doesn't need, that I can kind of go into that surplus or that deficit on demand. I can find that balance very fast. I can reprogram my mind very quickly. So when I want to cut down, when I want to tighten up, it's not a difficult process for me. Likewise, when I want to gain a little bit of size, and I'm not talking huge size, don't get me wrong here, guys. I'm in my 30s. I made a video about being in my 30s the other day, and a lot of people said I sound like I'm in my 70s. I was comparing it to when I was in my 20s, but the point is, it's not easy to just keep gaining muscle all the time, but if you know your body well, if you know how to control your body, and if you know your nutrition well, it's certainly easier than doing these huge 6-month swings when then you're gonna have to reprogram your mind to reverse all that. Take my word for it, Bruce Lee himself was lean all year round, and I would guess that's because he knew his body pretty fucking well. So what I suggest is get to know your body better, be realistic about what you truly can and want to achieve, and program around that. Build your nutrition plan, your lifestyle around that. Maybe you're not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, guys. Maybe you're not going to be Chris Bumstead, but if you whip your shot off at the beach and you feel good about yourself, you feel light, you feel aesthetic, and people are looking at you, they're going to be thinking, wow, is that not enough, guys? You want to feel good in your own body all year round. You have to live in that body. Don't fuck it around. Thanks for watching, geezers. Like, subscribe, comment, etc. Until the next one. Bye bye.